This girl is so pitiful, cornered by a corrupt police officer. The buttons on her clothing were ruthlessly torn open one by one. The man, with bloodshot eyes, even placed a samurai sword far too close to her. The girl dared not resist because she was in a strange and unfamiliar world. Just moments ago, she had been in class without any warning before suddenly being transported here. Looking at the unfamiliar environment around her, she was filled with fear. She quickly took out her mobile phone to call for help, but her parents' numbers wouldn't connect. In her moment of despair, a familiar voice called her name. Yuri. Why are you here? Her brother asked. He explained to Yuri that this was a special world where everyone could only move between the tops of buildings, which were connected by a single suspension bridge. The elevators downstairs were blocked, making it impossible to reach the ground. On the rooftops, a group of mysterious masked individuals were killing people, their purpose to spread despair and force their victims to jump to their deaths. To get Yuri to safety, the two agreed to meet at a distant building. Suddenly, a large, menacing man appeared behind Yuri, brandishing a knife. Terrified, Yuri fell to the ground, dropping her phone. The man destroyed it and threw it away. With no other options, Yuri ran for her life. The only path was across the suspension bridge between buildings, which was difficult to cross. As she struggled to catch her breath, the man caught up and grabbed her by the neck, throwing her to the ground with a knife held to her. Perhaps by fate, the masked attacker was suddenly shot. A police officer had saved Yuri and moved forward to check on the fallen assailant. However, the officer was then pushed from the roof by another arriving figure. Yuri was stunned by this sudden act of violence. Before she could process what had happened, the corrupt officer turned to her with a smirk, cornering her against a wall with clear, malicious intent, his eyes burning with excitement. Unbeknownst to him, all of this was being watched from a distance by another masked figure. With a loud bang, the officer was shot down. Yuri quickly ducked for cover, her mind racing until she remembered her roommate was a sniper. It seemed not all masked individuals carried blades. After calming herself, she found a pistol on the deceased officer and quickly fled the scene. Just as she thought she was safe, another masked man appeared opposite her. He accelerated over a guardrail, rushing toward her without a word and swinging a sickle. Yuri barely avoided the attack and fired back several shots, but none were effective. Feeling helpless, Yuri changed her strategy and told the masked woman she gave up and would stop struggling, even suggesting she would jump. This seemed to confuse her attacker. Yuri said if she met her brother, he should be told his sister was gone. As the masked man stepped forward to confirm, Yuri surprised him, standing on a counter and shooting him. Thinking she had won, Yuri climbed up, but the masked man was still alive, his mask only partially destroyed. It was revealed he was still human, just controlled by the mask. He warned her not to come closer or look at the back of his mask, as he was compelled to follow orders. He then carried out his final command and took his own life. Saddened by what she saw, Yuri felt a renewed determination to survive. She found a supply pack nearby, acquiring a pistol and replenishing her energy before entering a building. Inside, she discovered a body with a note in its pocket. The note explained that there were periodic opportunities to leave via a plane, but only the first person to reach the tarmac would have a chance. Suddenly, gunshots echoed from the corridor. Following the sound, Yuri saw a girl with yellow hair preparing to kill someone who was not masked, but was another human. This was a cruel world where people were forced to hunt each other for the sole escape opportunity. As the yellow-haired girl was about to strike, Yuri fired a shot, disarming her. However, the girl drew a knife and killed the man without hesitation, all for a chance at the helicopter. The ruthless girl then turned on Yuri. Remembering her missing brother and the bizarre rules of this world, Yuri decided to offer the escape opportunity to the other girl. At that moment, a hidden sniper took aim at the yellow-haired girl. Yuri desperately pushed her out of the way and fired back at the sniper. The yellow-haired girl was shocked that Yuri had saved her. As the two introduced themselves, the sniper fired a shot that ricocheted off the ground, forcing them to take cover. They decided to deal with the sniper first and ran upstairs, only to find an empty staircase and a grenade rolling toward them. A huge explosion followed. After the blast, Yuri found a hat on the ground that reminded her of her brother, but she was startled by the voice of the girl she saved, Eri, who questioned if Yuri was truly giving her the chance to leave. Yuri took out her student ID and asked that if Eri made it back to the real world, to give it to her parents and tell them she and her brother were still in this strange world. The sound of a helicopter reached them, and they ran to the roof but were a step too late as it took off. In frustration, Eri fired her pistol at the sky. Unexpectedly, the helicopter turned back and opened its door, only for a masked man inside to open fire with a machine gun. Watching the departing aircraft, Eri was disappointed but resolved to wait for the next one. Through all this, Yuri finally understood that the helicopter was controlled by the masters of this world. She was determined not only to reunite with her brother, but to gather a team to fight back and seize control of the helicopter and the sky. Elsewhere, a man removed a familiar mask. He was the sniper from earlier. His hat had been a disguise. Injured, he had hidden in a corridor after his mask was damaged. Though the broken mask allowed him some independent thought, he still could not free himself from its control and was compelled to remain a tool for murder. Another masked figure approached him, an axe-wielding assailant, but the sniper was faster and shot him. Afterward, he realized that damaged masks made their wearers targets for others. This troubled him greatly. When Yuri awoke, she found Eri was gone and had taken the pistol. She was saddened until she saw masked men approaching. She ran but was cornered by 3 of them. In this cruel world, designed to force people to despair, Yuri used her wits to cut a suspension bridge, causing one attacker to fall. His companions did not help him but instead ended his life. With her revolver empty, Yuri could only run for her life. Just when she thought she would die, Eri appeared behind the masked men. Seeing this, the remaining masked man charged at Eri. At the critical moment, Eri threw the gun, which was easily dodged. The masked man attacked, tearing her clothes and forcing her to the ground. As he licked his claws in excitement, a gun was pointed at him the next second. Eri had known Yuri had a spare magazine and had thrown the gun to her. Yuri then removed the mask from the fallen man and found he was still alive. Remembering the previous warning, she asked what happened if someone saw the back of a mask. The man explained it was like being brainwashed. Even after removal, the orders remained. His final command was to die, which he did. Yuri thanked Eri for the rescue, and the two decided to become allies in this strange world. When Eri checked her phone, Yuri desperately grabbed it, too worried about her brother. After dialing, a familiar voice answered. Yuri reported everything to her brother and mentioned her plan to escape. Her brother said he would come for her, but warned that in this chaotic world, no one could be trusted. She must keep the initiative and even suggested killing Eri. This was only a terrible thought, and Yuri quickly dismissed it, firmly warning her brother against such ideas. Sensing her resolve, her brother relented and told her to meet him as soon as possible. Their goal now was to gather partners and collect weapons while waiting for the next plane. After the call, Yuri apologized to Eri for the dark thoughts she had and for taking advantage of the situation. This was a real-life battlefield with snipers and relentless masked attackers. To escape, people felt they had to kill each other, but the heroine wanted to break the rules and unite others to change their fate. The handsome man who had fought the masked figures was the brother Yuri thought of, Lee Huo. Originally, kind people were forced to wear masks to survive. Suddenly, an alarm sounded, but it was only a companion coming to find Li Huo. The friend was worried about the dangers of being separated. Li Huo said he had been calling his sister and would return now. As he turned, a shot put ball flew past, embedding itself in the wall and instantly killing his companion. The attacker was a masked baseball player who retrieved his weapon. Knowing a direct hit would be fatal, Li Huo could only retreat with his other companion. In a panic, his companion opened an emergency exit door only to find a 100-meter drop. Li Huo caught him in time. The other doors were locked, leaving them no choice but to fight. Li Huo guessed the masked men retained some human traits and that the baseball player would follow pitching rules, not throwing continuously. He pretended to be a baseball player himself, and his theory proved correct. As the masked man waited, they used the opportunity to break down a gate and escape. The companion created a distraction, allowing Li Huo to get away. Just when they thought they had won, the masked man pinned Li Huo down, saying he wasn't worthy to become this world's god. Li Huo didn't understand, but managed to kick the man away, and his companion shot him. After escaping, they encountered another masked man who strangely did not attack but let them go. The companion remembered Li Huo's warning about snipers and said they couldn't let their guard down. Li Huo proudly stated the sniper had been killed by his sister, unaware that the very sniper was nearby, struggling against the mask's control. The sniper, his mask malfunctioning, was haunted by fragmented memories of a past life and a figure he couldn't name. His thoughts were interrupted by a greeting from an innocent girl who recklessly spoke to him, a masked man. He raised his gun. It is time to give him a taste of despair. It is incredible. He received instructions not to take action. The girl in front of me is God. Is he the ruler of this world? A sleeping, graceful schoolgirl has become the best food among the masked people. He waved the saw in his hand. There is a disturbing atmosphere in his actions. Unaware of the danger, the two men cross the bridge. Looking at the empty building, Yuri finds it difficult to gather company smoothly. Erlai comforted us before we started to implement the plan, telling us not to feel uneasy and that he is with us. Yuri found Erlai's words very warm-hearted, like those of a big sister. After saying that, he called his sister and ran away. This sudden feeling of being needed reminds Yuri of her miserable childhood. The ball in her hometown was kicked around by her family. The needs of a roommate let her be happy in this desperate world. Just then, the chef-masked man suddenly appeared, threw Erlai over the railing, then grabbed her calf and threw her into the room downstairs. Is it impossible to love so much? The masked man used to be a chef. Looking at Erlai's neck, he brought into the mirror images of himself cooking. What a pity to cook with such a tender piece of meat. Erlai thinks this masked man is unusual. Not only can he speak, but he also has an independent mind. She feigns weakness and takes the initiative to ask to jump off the building because the purpose of the masked man is to make people despair rather than slaughter. However, the chef-masked man did not want to let her go easily. He told Erlai his mask is a defective product. He can hear commands and have his own consciousness. He wants to take her with him to improve his combat effectiveness. All he has to do now is cook girl meat. Just when Erlai decided to kill the chef-masked man, the masked man kicked the bag and rolled out black coconuts one by one, so scared that Erlai involuntarily stepped back. At this point, the saw is already around her neck, leaving drips of ketchup. A gunshot at a critical moment turned the tide of the battle. She turned around and saw the courteous road hanging on the window, hair flying in the wind. Then, a few shots passed. I thought it was reasonable to solve the problem of the chef's mask man. Tell Erlai to take the gun and take the stairs to meet him. The mask that is not dead behind people stands up and roars at Erlai. He also tried to jump off the building with Erlai as a result. He was taken away by Erlai with one stroke. Come and talk to him reasonably and excitedly. There is a way to find a new partner. It is a witness announcement, and it also hints at the secrets of the world. Although it may also be a trap, the two do not want to lose the opportunity to gather partners, and they set off. Upon reaching the destination, the mysterious man turns around but looks like a masked man. Yuri, who found something wrong, immediately pulled out a gun but was still one step behind. An electric baton was placed around his waist. Then, Erlai was also controlled. This is a rooftop ruled by God, a chicken world where a masked person is reduced to a desperate killing tool. And this white girl is the spirit of this world. For a professional masked person, the first reaction to seeing people is to raise a gun and shoot. However, just then, a new command suddenly came from the sniper's mind. That is to protect the God Seeker in front of you to approach humans. Therefore, the sniper is going to take this cute girl to Yuri and their other side. Two people who are determined to gather more companions followed the instructions to the recruitment room. I never imagined that the mysterious man turned out to be a masked man. Yuri, who found something wrong, quickly drew his gun but was still one step behind. The man who was ambushed by the side was paralyzed and unable to get up. Erlai was then also controlled. The mysterious man takes off the mask covered with tape and tells the secret of the mask. In all masks, only the grand prize mask can end the world, and the bearded man's purpose is to catch more people to confirm which one is the grand prize mask. Just when you reasonably thought you were doomed, a knight appeared, more accurately, the night masked man. Night masked man made quick work of a few little guys. In the end, the bearded man was also punched by him and got the box lunch directly. Masked man then shifted his target to Yuri. Facing a powerful enemy, Yuri tells Erlai to run. He was ready to take the plunge. But how could Erlai be a person who is greedy for life and afraid of death, someone who abandons friends? I saw him pull out a mask from his bag and wear it on his face. I have not waited for a good friend to become a mask. Human facts. Erlai has entered the state of madness of the masked man. Erlai took the knife and rushed towards the knight, but what was cut off was the arm of the night masked man. The night masked man smashed Erlai's mask with one punch. Erlai is still the normal Erlai because he is wearing a chef's disability mask. Although he became a masked person, he still has his own consciousness, and it will also improve his physical fitness. Erlai is really unusual. Although he received a physical boost from the mask, he can only tie with the night masked man. If they keep deadlocked, they will lose. Just then, Yuri came with a diversion. The knight punched and ended up getting countered. Yuri took the opportunity to hug the masked man's thigh. This timely delay allowed Erlai to successfully KO the masked person. Just finished with the knight, the masked man killed another angry old man who was crying to kill the god worshipper. As a result, it was all part of Erlai's trick. The batch of attacks was instantly shocking. The admired old man then told them what had happened to her. He wants to use the power of Erlai and reason to get revenge for your partner. The old man originally had 4 companions. They went through many difficulties together and arrived at a building with an antenna. A man with glasses stood in their way. He took control of the masked man and killed his companion. The man claims to be a worshipper and possesses the ability to control the masked man. He enjoys the pleasure of controlling the world and also destroys attempts of those who try to destroy the world. Have you ever seen such a narcissist? Even when eating, he is also fantasizing about murderous snipers. It is a deadpan mask that is hard to escape. He talks to himself, saying that as long as you become a truly perfect god, you can have peace. There is chaos and there is peace. Anyway, everything went according to God's will, and there is only one God. The white silk girl finished listening and is determined to become a perfect god, then let the world peace end. On the other side, Yuri and Erlai promise the old man to avenge him. In fact, it is to inquire about the meditator and the way to end the world. This meditator laughed at the old man very wildly for only finding two people, or two girls who are powerless. The angry old man talked about the strength of the two people, which makes one wonder if he is an undercover agent. The man is even more shameless to say that he will not allow anyone other than himself to become a perfect god. Then he dispatched the masked man he controlled to launch an attack. Polite, the two plan to defend first on the way here to reduce the opponent's stamina, making it easier to beat them. Just as Erlai and the masked man were deadlocked, the old man thought he had a chance for revenge and rushed forward. As a result, he was backhanded by the masked man and fell to the ground. The masked man continues to fight fiercely with Erlai and gradually starts to breathe heavily. I see my masked man at a disadvantage. The man in glasses has summoned his second masked man to attack. To his surprise, this seemingly unassuming girl took care of it in one shot. The masked man is good at pretending to be weak and then defeating strong opponents. The man in glasses sees that he has little hope of winning and gets crazy. He took out his gun and pointed it at the two of them. Remembering past experiences, Yuri decided not to be soft. All of this is seen by white silk girls and a sniper not far away. The white girl does not want anyone else to die. The sniper says that since someone can control the masked man to kill, it means that you can also control the masked person. You are also a god competitor. You must have your own skills. If you want to survive and let more people survive, you have to do something you can. The girls do not disappoint. They take your phone and operate it. In an instant, black smoke billowed from a building, stunning everyone. Ah, Brother Ma, the person who just came in. Let's use Marklin Ross, Xiao Zheng. My pockets are worn out. What are you doing here every day? The dissociation possessed by the drama essence. How can we waste this great opportunity? Tell the male god seeker with confidence that I am a stronger god promoter than you. These are all little tricks to make fun of you. You cannot beat me. If you get too deep into the play, it is reasonable to directly scare the man with glasses. Knowing that you are not an opponent, he begs for a reason to let them go. Smash you to death. This acting aside, looking at Yuri laughing, Erlai was speechless. Then the injured old man made a painful sound. Yuri immediately ordered the bespectacled man to come forward for treatment. The screen changes. A scream broke the newly restored calm. A woman falls to the ground, and two strange masked figures appeared behind her. No, three. However, the third masked man solved the first two. Is this a defective mask again? Or has there been another person who can control the masked man? Who would have thought that behind the masked man is such a harmless young girl? Look at the way you rationally praise the masked man. Erlai is very jealous. It is rare, but the moment was torn away from him like a ghost and gave him a scream, catching the attention of both. They decided to set out to find out, but now Erlai saw himself wearing a mask. He does not understand. He clearly wore a defective mask before, but now he is gradually losing control of his emotions. It is reasonable to perceive the strangeness of Erlai. She says, if you are not feeling well, they will go back first. Nothing is more important than you. To have such a friendship in this cruel world is touching. Erlai knew the mask is gradually taking control of his brain. He wanted to meet Yuri and his brother and spend as much time with him as possible. They enter the building's library and met one covered in blood, a masked man with a baseball bat. Erlai goes up and attacks without saying a word. Why is my knife too short to dodge? He also felt that the masked man was very strong, but no matter how difficult, he must clear all obstacles for Yuri while he is still awake. Erlai attacks again and cuts empty air. The next second, he suffered a blow from the masked man and was hit. Yuri fired several shots but did not hit the sly masked man. It was too far. Yuri could not come forward to check on Erlai's condition, and there was another shot. The mask is falling. However, this familiar refraction marksmanship reminds Yuri of the sniper-faced giant. He kept shooting vigilantly. Then he took Erlai to quickly withdraw. The sniper is also helpless. He just wants to meet the two of them and has no intention of hurting them at all. He rushes to catch up, but is afraid he will be attacked by them again. In order to achieve their goals, they still have to keep him alive. The white girl is curious about the sniper, and through persistent questioning, the sniper recounted his fragmented memory. At first, he became a sniper himself, but he met a boy. The boy knows that the masked man does not kill easily and lays down his arms. The move of attack does not mean harm. He just wants to take off the mask and see that face. The sniper tumbled downstairs to dodge the attack, and the boy shed tears and also dropped a photo. This behavior confuses the sniper. Until the mask breaks, he just thought that boy is most likely his best friend. Wanting to confirm his identity in person is his purpose. That is it. The white girl was crying. The sniper was confused. The girl shows that if it is your best friend, he would be sad to learn you were wearing a mask. The sniper remembered why he was wearing the mask again, all because of the woman in the mask. That girl is so poor. She was roughly trampled underfoot by this disturbing masked man. He takes out a needle of an unknown liquid and is going to give him a forced injection. Just now, Erlai could not resist the power of the mask and fell to the ground. He finally told the truth. The defective mask he wore before is now controlling his mind. He will immediately lose the last consciousness and become a tool person. He stood up with the last of his sanity and went to the window to try to commit suicide. Yuri hurried forward and hugged him. This hug actually triggered the mask command. There is only a trace of reason left, and he still restrained himself. But this time, Erlai, who refused the mask order, has a program that is completely messed up. Like a virus, the same number of instructions are superimposed. Unable to agree, he went into a dormant state. Then a masked man in purple appeared. The masked man warns Yuri not to show hostility easily. Otherwise, the mask will automatically see you as the enemy and then kill. The masked man has no killing intent. Yuri asked him about Erlai. The masked man said, "This is what happens when multiple orders are not executed. People die after 2 hours of hibernation," and told Yuri he was a guardian angel who knows the location of all items in the management area. Get 5 masks somewhere and become a godly. You can save Erlai. Once you become a god promoter, you will face the battle for the perfect god, which often ends badly. But now Yuri doesn't care so much. After settling in for 2 years, he goes on the road alone. Yuri climbed the straight fire escape. It's just so unfortunate that a masked man also followed. Yuri had to push forward desperately. He finally climbed the stairs and fell as soon as he came up, trampled underfoot by the masked man who followed. The masked man took out a syringe and was going to give Yuri a shot. Yuri struggled and escaped. He saw the white carton mentioned by the guardian angel, quickly went over, took out 5 masks, and put one on his face. The installer in the brain detected the occurrence of danger and entered emergency mode, prioritizing the installation of partial abilities to solve problems. Upon waking up and seeing the mask, the man seems to have entered a state of slow motion. Yuri grabbed the masked man by the collar and threw him out violently. This terrifying power of the Mind Seeker, after solving the problem of the masked man, is rational to put the mask back on. All kinds of programs are compressed into the rational brain, waking up by itself. The higher the fit, the stronger the ability. The installed mask sleeps on the ground. Just as he was about to go back to wake up Erlai, his phone rang. It was Erlai calling, using the phone number he had given Yuri. It was a passing white girl using his status as a near reviewer to wake him up. Relieved to learn that Erlai was fine, Rational learned that Erlai also reported their location and told Rational to hurry back and meet everyone. A woman's scream came from the rooftop in the distance. Her clothes were cut to pieces as she looked in horror at the 2 masked men in front of her. Just as the masked man sang, laughing as he prepared for his next move, suddenly a monk masked man appeared behind him. Without waiting for them to react, he took down the 2 with 1 move each. The terrified woman begged for mercy, but the monk did not harm her. This scene happened to be seen by Li Huo and 2 others passing by. He knew that the masked man must be under some kind of control and had just come out to do good deeds. Sure enough, a phone rang, and the monk handed it to Li Huo. A teenager's voice came from inside, claiming to be a spiritualist himself, observing the every move of Li Huo and others from a distance. Li Huo asked the boy directly where he got the power of a god. The teenager was not obscure. He told Li Huo he found himself in the corner of a room and accidentally discovered a 5 mask. Upon putting it on, it was programmed into his brain, making him a meditator with the ability to control the masked man. In this world, as long as you become a meditator, there is a chance to compete for the qualification of a perfect god. Becoming a perfect god can get you everything you want. The teenager wants to cooperate with the fire squad to end this evil world together. After hanging up the phone, the group came to the building near the teenager. The young man was very excited to see the crowd coming. The moment Li Huo saw him, he confirmed the boy was a good person and was willing to cooperate with him to defeat those vicious masked men together. But he did not know that every move of the fire squad was being watched by a mysterious masked woman, who at this moment had led her masked men to the battlefield. Counterfeit cards are tuxing. A smoke bomb was immediately hit by a baseball, flying towards the fire squad. The moment it landed, smoke filled the area. A great war was about to begin. A beautiful woman in a pink mask has a special hobby and is also one of the most perverted and murderous masked men, with a pair of scissor legs that can kill countless enemies. At this time, she had already targeted everyone in Li Huo's team and immediately issued a combat order to her subordinates. The masked man fired a tear gas canister, leaving people choking, unable to open their eyes, their skin tingling and unable to move. Her target is Jigata Jinshin, controlled by the monk mask. Then the second man in the long knife mask came on, about to sneak attack the monk-masked man from behind. His first knife was blocked by Li Huo with a sledgehammer. Seeing this, the masked woman shouted at her subordinates. Li Huo also took the opportunity to tell everyone to move to the building to avoid them and buy time. The man with the long knife mask slashed towards Li Huo, blocked by the fire with a hammer. But a wooden hammer can't stand a knife and split instantly. The long knife kept pressing against his forehead, and blood suddenly appeared on Li Huo's forehead. Just when he couldn't resist later, people made it difficult to solve the long knife mask. Looking at the noble masked man in front of him, Li Huo knows these are all masked men controlled by Jichin, the god promoter. After the sudden attack just now, everyone was also tired and out of breath. The black silk woman here failed the battle and was scolded by the mastermind behind the scenes, warning her not to look down on the other party because they are human. The helpless black silk woman had no choice but to send the remaining masked men all out. Student masked man, wooden knife masked man, and drill masked men make an appearance. Watching the opposing lineup, Li Huo, swaying and ready to fight, overestimated his state. Days of fatigue, a recent injury, and excessive blood loss made him pass out on the ground. Although the command of the backbone is lost, everyone still fought each other against the attack of the masked men. The form is quite good, but they underestimated the number of masked people controlled by the other party. Your tall, muscular masked man appears. The monk is a younger brother in front of him, knocked to the ground without surviving a punch. Then, the muscular masked man carried Li Huo and ran away. It turns out that Li Huo is the target of the black silk masked woman. Capturing the capable was a task given to her by her boss. Then, Yuri's phone rang. He got the news that his brother was killed by Mr. Liu and crushed the phone in anger. Maybe that's why he became a god seeker. He vaguely remembered something important, but couldn't remember, focused on finding his brother wholeheartedly. Erlai here has been waiting for a reasonable return, but no one came, and the phone didn't work either. He knew something was wrong and ran out without looking back. The man slapped his head and fell into the arms of a female subordinate. This is his way of relieving fatigue. He can manipulate 30 masquerades simultaneously. The black silk pink furry girl in front of her is one of them. The man wearing a pink-haired mask interrogated a lever because he is not only the cruelest masked man, but also an existence that can understand the human heart. The other side is still recalling the past sniper hunter finds ambush. The other party is a user, a female sniper with the same weapon. Just started, both easily dodged bullets from each other. Against an opponent of comparable strength, neither of them dared to be careless. It's a pity that the white-haired mask was not giving the sniper a chance to survive at all, the first to break the suspension bridge. In a critical moment, the sniper grabs the rope, and here he is, deadlocked, half suspended on the bridge. The sniper thought he was in trouble. Yuri and the others heard a voice and immediately located the sniper. Just when Jinki was about to use the magnetic ghost cannon to support it, the rooftop door was pulled open, a flash of knife light, and the sniper rifle on the white fur armor was instantly twisted into two pieces. It turned out to be Ain, who immediately attacked the white fur armor. But Ain doesn't seem to be a match for Whitehair and was kicked away by him. The white-haired armor hooked up to Ain with disdain, but his hair was broken in the next second. It was the sniper who took the opportunity to adjust his position. The white-haired mask at a disadvantage, the body has chosen to retreat despite the difficulties. The man in glasses who came later asked about the situation, but Ain stomps his feet for praise. The man in glasses thinks the sniper is controlled by his roommate. Both admire and fear. Helpless, he still has to meet Yuri. The injured old gangster Kai also temporarily put aside his hatred and hit the road with the man in glasses. All parties have arrived. The battle of the gods is about to begin. At the same time, Aikawa also learned through the call of the white-haired girl that the other god seekers may have allied and launched this ghost. The gunner is most likely one of these people. He must get rid of these apostles as soon as possible. No one can stop him from becoming fully divine. The white silk girl is not trying to take advantage of the male god. He is on the thigh, just because after awakening the male god, caused by poor physical strength, novelty, and Erlai, in order to wake up the dormant sniper, the masked man came into his mind. A little boy in a hat appeared on both sides. The former was a childhood sniper. He brought two men to the sniper after leaving the fire in the same year. It turns out that his real name is Chung Yong. Because the situation is dangerous, Novelty can't wait to stop the sniper's hibernation of the mask, power operation, removed his desperate orders and killing orders. However, suicide orders still exist. Memory will be restored soon. Maybe it consumes too much. Monday fell to the ground. On the other side, Rational just found the old gangster and the doctor when he heard a scream. He had to hit the road again. Yuri easily found the location according to the call, but was still a step too late. The girl was murdered. The pervert is meeting 4 strong men at a time. The masked man easily dodged the bullets shot by the other party. Yuri started to shoot back, but the other party was on guard. He also posed and jumped on the thousand-handed Guanyin and then moved slowly towards Yuri. Yuri knocked him over with his body, stepped on the opponent's arm, and raised his hand to KO him. Yuri, who became a god seeker, is like hanging up, finished off 4 masked men in a few clicks. And he didn't notice there are eyes not far from him. Rational is sad. Obviously, he has become stronger, but still didn't succeed in rescuing others. What's the point of being a god worshipper? The ghostly masked man finally revealed his true colors. He looked reasonable, and the weapon was not on him. Fantasizing about completing the task, Kagawa will pet himself like a reward dog, Tai, so he opened up with Yuri unknowingly. The door of death keeps talking for the sake of passing on the teacher, like a stupid fan. However, as he opened his cloak, full of throwing knives, it is really chilling. Unarmed Yuri, can you escape this dense throwing knife? This is the most handsome sniper I've ever seen. I saw him shoot a bullet, accurately hit the howitzer in midair, and successfully rescued the escaped yellow-haired girl. However, the road to the rooftop was intricate. Worried, Erlai shouted Yuri's name, and that cry successfully brought Yuri back to reality. When he reacted, he quickly roared back. The one who got a response ran quickly in the direction of the sound. However, it was just these 2 cries that let him be targeted by a sniper. A howitzer was fired at high speed. The sniper ran in and arrived just in time for a precise shot, detonating the howitzer directly in the air. After a random loading, the next shot was aimed at the masked man, but unexpectedly, the bullet was intercepted by a dagger. The dagger masked man appeared. He had obviously just stopped the bullet, yet he commanded the cannon masked man to continue shooting. Just as the trigger was about to be pulled, several gunshots rang out, and the cannon masked man fell to the ground. At the same time, Yuri fell from the sky and stood in front of Erlai. The wounded cannon masked man struggled to stand up, shuddering, and fired 5 howitzers in a row. For Yuri, who was now a near god, this was a piece of cake. The bullets were as slow as snails in front of him. Not waiting for the sniper to fire, they were easily resolved by the 2 guns in his free hand, which shocked everybody. The 2 masked people didn't have time to react. The cannon mask was shot in the head by the sniper. Frightened, the dagger masked man slumped his hind legs on the ground, thinking he had found a hidden location, and was about to call for help, but he had underestimated the strength of a professional sniper. The sniper had already changed position, and another shot to the head made it difficult to take away the short knife mask. After finishing all the enemies, Yuri held Erlai tightly in his arms. She was so excited her legs were stuck in one place. Then, the girl in white came over, greeting Yuri warmly. This was the first encounter between 2 near gods, and they both felt the powerful aura of the other party. The girl told Yuri the sniper asked to meet up alone. Because Yuri did not yet have immunity to masked man attacks, the sniper was afraid of suddenly losing control and accidentally hurting Yuri, so he intended to maintain a safe distance from everyone. In addition to that, Yuri felt that the white girl was also peaceful and an idealist. She took him by the hand with great enthusiasm. Erlai warned the white girl not to be so intimate. In this way, the team finally assembled. On the other side, Li Huo, who was lost, was led by a masked man and met Aikawa, the man behind the scenes. He told Li Huo bluntly that he wants to be the ruler of this world and become a perfect god, but it's hard to do with masked people alone. He needed Li Huo to help him get rid of more gods. At this time, Li Huo thought about how to deal with this arrogant guy in front of him, but when he learned that Aikawa could control 30 masked men, he knew he had to be careful. Then, Li Huo was taken to the rooftop. Aikawa pointed to the tallest building in the distance and told Li Huo that to be a perfect god, it was necessary to reach the female ghost tower, which seemed out of reach. But if they could capture the helicopter, this was not a dream. At the same time, the roar of propellers resounded above the city and soon came to the rooftop. The door opened, and a masked man with a crying face waved to the crowd before flying away. The masked men are the guardians of this world. Their purpose is to prevent spiritual people from approaching the roof of a tall building and to prevent the helicopter from being robbed. But Aikawa doesn't plan to stop there. He ordered his men to continue monitoring the movement of the helicopter and to kill anyone approaching it. Who would have thought that this submissive masked man, after the seal was lifted, was actually the strongest existence in the headquarters. Even the bullets from a sniper rifle could be easily caught by him. This strength was such that even Yuri, who had become a god promoter, was Kongpa no longer his opponent. At this time, Yuri was being hunted by the throwing knife mask. Without a weapon, he could only dodge throwing knives everywhere. Seeing his weapon was not far away, he was trying to figure out how to retrieve it when the masked man turned out from behind the wall and raised his hand to attack him again. Yuri fled behind the door in a hurry and dodged a bullet. Just when the student masked man prevailed, a dagger was inserted into his arm. The second generation made its debut and subdued the 2 throwing knife masks. In his account, Aikawa was not clear-headed and was self-righteous. At the same time, Aikawa issued an assassination order and sent the woman in black and the swimsuit masked man, along with the super-powerful archangel. The archangel is a masked man with explosive strength, not only possessing a strong body but also a strong will. Even Aikawa, who can control 30 masked men, could only control the archangel's body, not his thoughts. thoughts. He had no choice but to seal the archangel away. The man with glasses here also had new discoveries. He told Yuri that a masked man who has been controlled is no longer under the control of other judges, but he had also inspired his skills. He could suspend the activities of a masked person. After trying it on the sniper, there was a 1-second stop. However, this second could also play an important role in real combat. Everyone got ready for battle. Just as the sniper aimed at the woman in black, a shout of "Mother" came from the side. This shocked the sniper, causing him to miss. The woman in black actually had a child. No wonder Li Huo said before that the woman in black had the feeling of an ant on the phone. The woman in black threw smoke bombs. The mission to interfere with the sniper failed, so they changed to a different tactic. This way, the archangel was cleaned up by a few people, and he called Aikawa for help. Aikawa said the keyword and lifted the seal of the archangel. This increased the size of the archangel, making him fearless and very arrogant. He even said that he would kill Aikawa. The reasonable people took the call cautiously. After all, the archangel was the strongest masked man. His strength could not be ignored. He swung his sledgehammer and made a big hole. When Yuri opened his eyes again, the people were gone. It turned out the archangel didn't pay attention to them at all. He had listened to Aikawa's words and thought Yuri was associated with Aikawa, so he went over Yuri to take revenge on Aikawa for sealing him. This is the most powerful masked soldier. Pinching an incoming bullet was as simple as pinching a little ant. Even the novelty of being a near god was afraid of the archangel's breath and hid in the arms of the masked sniper in fear. Since Aikawa broke the seal of the archangel was determined to get rid of the one who once controlled him. He wasn't interested in fighting others. It was just that the cunning Aikawa was in it, making Yuri and others misunderstand the archangel as an enemy. The first step in the archangel's revenge was Ah Feng Kuang attack. Ayin was the first to attack, but what he cut was only the afterimage of the archangel. A few attacks in a row completely angered the archangel. He used a long stick to break Ain's knife, and was about to send Ain to heaven when Erlai and the man with glasses appeared in time. The man with glasses used the ability to suspend the masked man's movement for 1 second, but this second, for the archangel, only lasted for 0.8 seconds. This 0.8 seconds just allowed the archangel to leave 2 wounds on Erlai and Ain's bodies. The archangel knew it was the man in glasses and took out the bullet the sniper had just shot, flicking it with his finger toward the man with glasses. Ain tried to stop it but was too late. The situation was critical. Erlai called for Ain and the seriously injured man with glasses to retreat first. He stayed behind to activate the mask program for help. However, the process of improving the ability takes 3 minutes. Until then, Erlai could only save his life and delay time. The archangel didn't give Erlai any time at all. He teleported over and gave him a blow, injuring Erlai's eardrum with that stick. But Erlai kept Tuo Yan-ing. Fortunately, the old gangster appeared in time. Although they knew the old gangster was not powerful, could it delay for a while? Erlai took the opportunity to dodge and upgrade the program, and the old gangster here couldn't even catch a move from the archangel and immediately fell to the ground, fainted. Erlai, who had activated the mask program, did improve his combat effectiveness. A shadow doppelganger attacked the archangel. He was just told to fight freely. After a battle down, the upgraded Erlai barely tied with the archangel but was also tired and out of breath. Erlai knew it was time to run away and leaped down the window. This was the plan that everyone had negotiated. The sniper would determine the location, and the novelty would fire railguns based on that location. But when the archangel crawled out of the ruins, Erlai was really dumbfounded. It turned out that although the archangel had dodged the main shot, the powerful shockwave had still damaged his internal organs. He decided to take care of Erlai and retreat to recuperate. Yuri's appearance let the archangel's wishful thinking fail. Just when Yuri was about to shoot the archangel, a prompt appeared in his brain. Yuri had successfully unlocked and controlled the power of angels, and the wavelength of the archangel was exactly the same as his. The old gangster appeared to intercede for the archangel, saying he felt that the archangel was not a bad person and that attacking a defeated man was too inhumane. Yuri wanted to seal and control the archangel for his own use. Aikawa learned that his signature weapon had been dealt with and his plan had failed, but he got important information. The hostage in his hand, Li Huo, was actually the brother of the god-faced one. He despicably showed Li Huo the program code. Was Li Huo going to become a masked man?